Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Naomi from What Naomi Made on Instagram, and I wanted to talk to you today about an app that I have had the pleasure of testing. It's a pattern app that uses an algorithm to create a bespoke pattern for your body. I must say up front that I am not being paid for this. I did receive access to all their patterns, which I'm very grateful for because they're fantastic, but it is not paid, and I really wanted to share this with you because I really believe in what they're doing. The company is called Fayma, and it is absolutely revolutionary in my opinion. So the first thing to do was to download the app, and the first thing I noticed was the huge selection of patterns in a lot of different styles. So something to suit everybody, and I particularly liked the views, different views, the 360-degree view and the videos, so you get a really clear image, and the line drawings which have different body types, which I really liked. They have 115 patterns at the moment, but they add the new ones every season, but I was able to find quite a few that I really like, but my favourite was this jumpsuit. In order to create the pattern that is bespoke for your body, you need to put in measurements. And the first thing is to take a photograph of your body. I think this is to help to check the measurements that you then put in, but you take a full-length photo of front and back. Then there are 33 measurements to take. Not all of these are used for every pattern, but you need to take 33 measurements. I would recommend having some help with this. My husband is now an expert, but you really need someone else to do it accurately. And I really wanted to make sure I did this accurately so I could properly test and be sure that this, was working. You take the measurements, but the great thing is there are guides, written guides, but there are also video clips of how to take those measurements, which is so helpful. When you put in your measurements at the end, it will tell you if some of the measurements seem inaccurate, or I don't know, I think it might be based on the photo that it's taken, but it will tell you, and you check them. And in my case, the ones I had to check were actually quite a bit off, so it's really, really accurate, I felt. You then choose your pattern and attach those measurements, and it will create your pattern, which is then emailed to you to download. When the pattern arrives, it's a PDF, just like most PDFs, but there are a lot more pieces. The pieces have a letter on them, which corresponds to what piece they are. There's a list, a guide, and they have really clear markings on them. For example, these pleats are really clearly marked, and they show where it's folded from and folded to, and I found those really, really helpful. What you will notice though is, instead of having one piece that's cut up twice and cut kind of on the symmetrical piece, you have both. So for example, the centre back piece, instead of having one that you cut twice, you have both. Now this uses a lot more paper. I think it might be something to do with the way the algorithm works, that they do both. You could probably print one and just use it twice, but I followed exactly how to do it, just to follow the process. Each piece comes in its own file, so piece D has its own file, so you can print that one and not print piece E. But it would, I think for the first time I printed all the pieces just to understand how it worked, and again, really clear markings on those pattern pieces. You can see here for some of them I wrote what the piece was just so that I could remember, but it's quite useful to have every single piece with a pattern piece. It's not the greatest with using paper, but I think you could use less once you've got used to the way it's done. The instructions that come with the patterns are really, really detailed. There are symbols that they use, and at first they're unusual, they're not what I'm used to, but actually they can make a lot of sense in understanding, which way the fabric is folded back, It's just another thing to help you to understand the instruction if you don't understand it. And I found the instructions really thorough, really clear. They've included every step. So, you know, even the seam finishes. Some people prefer less detail if they're more experienced, but I think for, you know, most sewists, it's really, really helpful to have all the details every step of the way. And I found them to be really, really clear. I particularly liked some of the techniques they used as well. So they explained how to do a rolled hem on the ruffle. That was explained really clearly and created a nice finish, which was also used on the hem of the trousers too. So there's some lovely techniques included in their patterns that are explained really well. Here you can see there's an instruction that just sewing the waistband to the bodice, and it just shows the overall image, and then they show a close-up of what it looks like, but then also the symbol that's included, and it just can really help to make it clear which way things are folded, where to stitch, and I think it's a really, really clever little addition. As I mentioned before with the pattern, they show very clear where to position the pleats and things like that, and I found that their instructions were really, really helpful. So showing which side to make the pleat from, and these detailed images really helped to see where to fold to and how high and where to sew, and I think those were really, really clever detail as well. So I loved making this jumpsuit. I loved some of the techniques. It challenged me a little bit, although it was easy to follow. I used some techniques that I haven't used in a while, and it was lovely to do something a little bit more extensive and involved. But at the end of the day, the thing I wanted to know was whether it fit or not, and I am so happy with the fit. Considering that there are so many pieces, we have, you know, the princess seam type to the side here, the fit over the bottom. You know, as somebody who normally has to size from one size out to another size from my waist, next size up from my waist, and then probably sometimes 2 sizes out for my hips, to not have to grade is amazing. To not have to alter, especially something so fitted, it's just so exciting. And I, you know, putting it on and pulling that zip up and seeing that it actually fit really, really well is really exciting. So I will definitely be making more. I have some clips of some of the techniques that I used when I was making this. I'll be doing some videos with those, and I will be probably do some sew alongs for some other of their patterns, because I just think they're amazing. If you've got any questions, I've put a link to Fayma website. Check them out, have a look. If you want to ask me anything, please do. Any comments, anything that you think, I'd love to hear. This is something I'm really, really excited about, and I'd love to talk to you about it and share. As I say, I'm not being paid for this, so it is just, I'm really, really passionate about this app. But yeah, please get in touch and comment below.